Today, we will learn about the preparations for Koha implementation. This is the background information. As a library professionals, um, Koha is an open source one. This is a very, I think, this is a new one. New technology. New technology means it works on open source platform. We are strange on open source platforms like Linux and databases and other things. We need to get an idea on how it works and what are the various versions available, which operating system we have to choose, then hardware requirements, how to prepare a specification to buy hardware for Koha implementation, and what are the skill sets required for Koha maintenance. Then we have to learn about Koha releasing schedules, then kinds of Koha implementation, then methods of Koha installation, how to keep in touch with these changes. It runs on Linux. Why we need to learn Linux-based OS? It's purely open source. No need to pay anything. Earlier, we familiar with the proprietary library management systems. We have to pay for it. For example, Windows 10. It cost around 60,000 rupees. For example, Windows. It has various editions, and for example MS Word we have to pay for them. For whatever may be the proprietary software, we have to pay for it. In India, everybody using pirated copies of these proprietary software, so their platform is not stable, so we cannot afford the price of the these proprietary software. So we can choose open source software platforms. Koha run on it. This is very suitable for Indian context. Then another thing is Windows update is heavy. Koha does not work with the Windows. It take too much time. I think you have noticed that when we plan to shut down the PC, it says that don't shut down now. The update in downloading and implementing update is going on. One more reason to learn open source platform is that it has its own different learning culture. It has community participation. Everybody can participate in the project. We can volunteer in various processes like translation, writing documentation. Developers can write code, and non-developers can participate in preparing documentation, translation process. Everybody can involve in open source projects. In Windows, it's like a ready-made thing. Nothing to do there. The company does not allow anything to change. Users become sleepy. One more benefit with Linux is that we get root access. We get the position of administrator. We can do anything. We can change anything. In Windows, they do not allow to get in the root administrative position. Everything they hide. Okay, next is I would like to introduce the concept of Linux operating system. Actually, Linux is not an operating system. Linux is a part of an operating system. That is, Linux is a kernel. Kernel is an important part of an essential part of an operating system. Linux is the name of an operating kernel of an operating system. Based on the Linux kernel, many operating systems, free operating systems developed. So we need to call them Linux-based operating system. Kernel means it controls everything regarding an operating system. For example, suppose we turn on or increase the volume of the speaker. The operating system input the instruction to increase the volume. It pass it to the kernel increase the volume. And if we press on a print button, the kernel receive the instruction and it gives the instruction to give printout from the printer. That's the purpose of kernel of an operating system. Linux is the name of an operating system kernel. The same kernel make use by many hundreds of operating systems. So it's called Linux-based operating system. Ubuntu is a Linux-based operating system. Debian is a Linux-based operating system. About hundreds of Linux-based operating systems available. Just go through the history of Linux. It started by Free Software Foundation, established in 1985. Is headed by Richard Stallman. Their aim was to build a free operating system. At that time, Unix was very popular. That's proprietary, not free. They decided to build and develop an operating system, same like Unix. Pardon?
Sir, actually, sorry, voice properly नहीं आ रही है आपके.
Oh, I see. Now, okay.
Mohiji, actually, your voice is not clear. Mohiji, actually, your voice is not clear. Your voice is not clear.
Any problem with my voice?
This problem with the Mohit sir. No, your voice is clear.
Oh,
I think sir, your voice is clear, but Mohit's voice is not clear. Okay, sir. Sir, continue.
Okay. Continue, sir.
Okay, they decided to develop an operating system same like Unix. They started the work. Everything regarding an operating system, they succeeded in develop an operating system, but they failed to build a kernel, the important part of the operating system. Their project stalled there. At that time, 1991, there is a Finnish computer science student from Finland. His name is Linus Torvald, developed a kernel and published its code in public and invited others to check it. Okay, based on that kernel, many developing team tried to build operating systems. In 1993, an earlier Linux edition called Debian arrived. In 1992, Linux license arrived. It's an open source license, so everybody can borrow that kernel and fit on it in operating system and use it. Okay, 1999, Red Hat Linux they released. It's a proprietary Linux operating system. We have to buy it. They have their own free edition that is called Fedora Linux. In 2004, it's a very important year. Ubuntu Linux arrived. Ubuntu is the most user-friendly Linux. Earlier versions of Linux was not user-friendly, so common people stay away from earlier editions of Linux. That's very difficult to install and use it. Ubuntu introduced a very user-friendly edition of Linux. It attracted common people to install Ubuntu into desktop and started to use for day-to-day activities like web browsing, word processing, etc. See, 2008, Android operating system developed. Its heart is Linux kernel. 2012, Raspberry Pi. It's a single board computer. It also make use Linux operating system. Okay, both terms available, both initiatives are available. One is open source and one is free software. Both are different initiative. Open source is a development technique, free software is a political philosophy. Both working for make available free software. The strategy with the open source movement is that their main aim is that make available the source code open and attract the software developers to work on it. Their aim is to develop better software by inviting volunteers to work on it. One version will be free and they will also sell a proprietary version. At the same time, free software movement, they are against open source philosophy. They say that it's a social movement. The ultimate aim of free software movement is that make available entirely free software. I will tell you an example, the difference between open source and free software. We are familiar with the Chrome operating system. This project started by Google. Their free edition is called Chromium browser. That's an open source one. The volunteers work on it. They build the browser. It's free of cost. But at the same time, they make use the same source code and build a proprietary browser called Chrome. Google have added some extra features and they make it proprietary browser. But it's free, but not open source or free software. It's free one, but it's proprietary. But their free edition is called Chromium. It's free of cost. That's the philosophy behind open source and free software. Then in 2000, the first initial release of Koha arrived. Till date, it got a lot of improvements. Now it become a very comprehensive integrated library system. Now it can act as a digital library. It's not a full text. I mean, it has some ailments, but it can act as a digital library. At the same, it's a comprehensive integrated library system. Then it can act as a content management system, and it also open up more integration options. Now it become very mature. Any kind of library can install it and implement it. See, we need to check three contexts Koha implementation required. First is migration from legacy automation software to Koha. For example, suppose a library is running on Source software or Lipsys software. If they want to switch from proprietary to free software, they have to migrate the data to Koha. That's a first condition, first instance. Second is, suppose a library is running on a very old version of Koha. For example, they installed it on 5 or 6 years back. In these 5 or 6 years gap, a lot of changes happened. Database structure changed, a lot of features added. Its size become very big. It's also very difficult to upgrade from a very old version of Koha to the latest one. Third option is Koha installation from scratch. Suppose a library has no library management software. If you want to start from scratch, they have to install Koha and use it fresh. Three contexts. One is migration switch from a existing proprietary library automation system to Koha. Second is upgrade from a very old version of Koha to the latest one. Upgrade from very old version of Koha to the latest one also very difficult. It needs a lot of skills. It's not easy to install a new version of Koha. Suppose a chance for break the system while upgrade from old to new version. In such case, we have to extract book details, user details, transaction details separate and import it into latest version of Koha. Then who will give you Koha support? Suppose we install Koha, it's running, so, and we face some technical problems. Who will give you support and who will help you? One is it provides two kinds of support. One is community support. Community support through their documentation. The project Koha project facilitate a lot of platforms to support the Koha users. One is a comprehensive documentation on how to install Koha in various Linux-based operating system. For example, if you want to install Koha, you can check their installation documentation, like how to install Koha on Ubuntu and how to install Koha on Debian Linux. Then discussion forums, email discussion forums available. One for users, one for developers, one for translators. Suppose if you have any query regarding Koha running, you can send a mail to the discussion forum. Surely we will get it. And they also created a Facebook group for live discussion. Then the second is commercial support. We have no time spent for Koha implementation, installation, and maintenance. We can approach a third party or commercial Koha support providers, seek their help to install Koha and its maintenance. No need to spend time to maintain Koha for the library. See what are the technical requirements to install Koha. It originally developed for Debian-based Linux. Debian is a kind of Linux. It's very robust and comprehensive. It has a big volunteers group working, a big group of people working on it. It's one of the most popular Debian Linux-based operating system, Debian. At the same time, we can install it on Ubuntu. Ubuntu is another user-friendly Linux. It derived from Debian Linux. Both architecture of Debian and Ubuntu is same. So we can install Koha on both operating systems. See, that's a platform, operating system platform required to install Koha. Second, we need a database to store book and other details. See, earlier they support MySQL database. Now they support MariaDB. MariaDB is another open source or free relational database management system derived from MySQL. The reason is that MySQL acquired by Oracle, that's a commercial company, it lost its open source nature. The volunteers started another project similar to MySQL using the same code, that's called MariaDB. Then it's the Apache web server. It works like a website. It needs a web server that's called Apache. The program written using Perl, it's a programming language. It's inbuilt with any Linux-based operating system. No need to install separately. Then heart of Koha is search working on Zebra. The default search engine is Zebra. Search engine means suppose we search for a particular book details. The Zebra search engine help you to retrieve the result and it list out the output. It also support Elasticsearch. Elasticsearch is another smart search. The same search search engine make use by DSpace. We are familiar with the Solar search. The similar search engine is called Elasticsearch. Anyway, we can switch between Zebra to Elasticsearch. The main advantage with Elasticsearch is Elasticsearch is far better than Zebra. It can search full text of the documents. It can work well with detailed bibliographical book details in regional languages. See, a lot of technical things related with Koha. Anyway, one more thing I would like to introduce you on, that is Koha plugins. Koha also already packed with a lot of, already some stock functional modules. In addition, if you want to add some features and functions, we can add using Koha plugins. Plugins means the same like plugins works with Google Chrome and Firefox browser. These are small programs which give some extra features and functions. We can see there the list of Koha plugins associated with the various Koha modules. For example, suppose you want to display book jacket on the front page of OPAC, floating book jacket. There is a Koha plugin available. We have to integrate with the existing Koha installation. After the installation of that plugin, the floating Koha book jacket will be available on the front page. The newly arrived book jackets we can display using that plugin. And many queries regarding Koha can install on Windows. We are familiar with Windows. Earlier, proprietary library automation softwares work on Windows. Everybody familiar with Windows. So professionals ask why Koha why it does not work on Windows. Koha has no Windows version. Earlier, a Windows version in 2004, they stopped the project. Now it ceased. Anyway, we need Ubuntu Linux-based operating system to install Koha, but we can make available it on a network. The installation, it required a Linux-based operating system. For using Koha, it's not mandatory to use Linux-based operating system. Suppose we have a Windows operating system in the network, using a browser like Firefox or Chrome, we can access Koha. Koha has a web interface, so we can access through any operating system and any browser. Then another reason why the developers does not consider Windows for Koha installation, Windows is not stable, and developers has good control on Linux-based operating system. For programming purpose and building ERP solutions, Linux is better. Then one more reason is it's difficult to run viruses and malware on Linux-based operating system. Next, we will check what are the skill sets required to install and maintain Koha. We are librarians. We are not programmers. We are not system administrators. But anyway, we have to acquire some skill set to install and maintain Koha. These are the basic skill set to run Koha. Otherwise, suppose you have no plan to maintain and install it, but suppose we can guide a technical person to install Koha, we have to acquire these skills. We have to get familiar with the basics skill sets required to maintain Koha. One is Linux basics. Some commands we have to familiar with. Then database basics, for example, MariaDB or MySQL commands. Then a brief idea on computer networking. Suppose we have a working in a university, we have a big campus. Suppose we have a run a server, our Koha on a server, and how to make available it on the entire network. Then we have to keep in touch with the latest updates on what are the as it is an open source or free software, a lot of changes happening day by day, lot of features coming, a lot of new features added to the latest versions. These things we have to keep in touch with. Then copy and paste skills. For example, if you want to take some backup or run something, we no need to learn or by heart these Linux commands. Suppose we have to learn the purpose of each commands. If you don't no patience to type it, and if you fear that when we type it, some spelling mistakes happen, just to copy and apply the command on the terminal and run it. Then lot of curiosity, lot of things we have to learn. It will we have to acquire some learning culture to work with the free software community. We have to ready to learn many things. Let's see what are the basics of Linux we have to learn as part of Koha installation or Koha implementation. One is we need to learn how to open a particular system file in Linux desktop. Not like Windows. In Windows, we can just double click a node file or system file and make changes. In Linux, it's not possible. We have to apply a particular command to open the system and configuration files. Then we have to learn copy and move files and folders from one place to another place. In Windows, we can simply copy files and folders and paste it in another place. In Linux, it's not possible. We have to learn. We cannot copy one file and folder from system folder to another place. It does not permit. We have to acquire some super user privileges, and we have to apply commands to copy and move files and folder from one place to another place. Then you have to acquire some idea on cron job for scheduled jobs. For example, your library closed down at 8 p.m. Daily we have to take a backup. We can set an instruction to take backup at 8:15. In such context, we have some techniques or tools available with the Linux that is called a cron job. Then we have to learn about file permissions. Permissions means who can access and make changes. Anyway, these things I have mentioned in the 2 books I have made available in the WhatsApp group. Then we have to learn about Debian and Ubuntu basics. Both are Linux-based operating system, and their own commands also we have to learn. One is sudo command. Sudo means to get administrative power, we have to use this sudo command as a prefix to every commands with Ubuntu and Debian. Then package management using apt. Apt is a package management. Package management means to install and uninstall. We use this package management system. Advanced package. I forgot its full name. Advanced package tools. Okay. Ubuntu and Debian using this tool. We have to learn the commands associated with this apt tool. And Debian package, same like exe file in Windows, to install a new software. For example, you want to install a team viewer or any desk software for the remote access of your system. We have to download this software from the website and install using a particular command. That is Debian package management. Then database management. Create and delete databases, then how to database take backup and how to restore it. Suppose you have to take regular backup of your Koha system. Suppose your system crash, we have backup. We can restore the same backup into the newly installed system. Your data will not be lost. some commands associated with the management of these databases. Then some graphical interfaces available for MySQL to see the structure of database. That one is called PHP MyAdmin. We have to familiar with these PHP tools like PHP MyAdmin. Then familiarity with SQL query. Query is a language. SQL query is a language to communicate with the database. We have to familiar with SQL query. Suppose you want to their developments is very slow. They release a new version after many years. For example, a um, Soul version 2 released after 10 years. It took 10 years to release a second version. I mean second version, second edition. In the case of open source software or free software, they release frequently new releases, new updates, and a big group of people working for the project, so they can add more features, they can resolve the existing problems, so they can release a new versions frequently. Then next is its activities are very fast, and we are busy with the library day-to-day activities. So we have minimal or no participation in communities. We will be always keep in touch with the community. New things will happen. We cannot keep up with the new things. Suppose our involvement will be very visible. Suppose someone asks questions or doubts, we have to answer them. Otherwise, people will not notice us. Suppose if we ask a question regarding our problem, if we are familiar in the group, we will get quick answers. Then libraries reluctant to use all modules with Koha. Many libraries install Koha and they are on it, but they do not use the full modules. For example, many libraries do not use the serial module and acquisition module, and many libraries stick on with the catalog, circulation, and report module. Then many libraries, they are running the Koha one side and they also maintain manual methods. It will slow down the benefits of full automation. I think in my experience, many library professionals are not familiar with using free software. For example, they are still familiar with the proprietary operating system Windows. In the case of Koha, in the screenshot we can see they forget all passwords. Linux has a username and password, and MySQL database has username and password, and they have a root password also. Then Koha has another master password, and we have to familiar with these many passwords and its workflow. And many libraries feel difficult to manage with these things, and they forgot to mention down the root password of database. Suppose some crash happens, they could not take backup. The reason is that they forgot all the password. They're difficult to maintain these things. We cannot restore. We cannot take backup and restore the database into new version. Then it's we need to accept changes. We have no resort. We have to pay a lot of money to invest on proprietary software. Very difficult for libraries to find this big amount. So Koha is a free one. So every whatever may be the size of the library, whatever may be the type of library, libraries can easily adapt and implement Koha. The only thing we have to care we have to accept these changes. We have to go through. We have to manage these things, the latest developments. These are the we have to learn these things. No other investments required to install and run Koha. And in my personal experience, many libraries face problem because of they are not familiar with how to keep in touch with the changes. And many library professionals get in trouble because of not following these changes. One example is no login using database username and password. Earlier, there is a master username and password. The master username and password is the same database name and password. The same database name and password, we can log in into Koha. But they stopped that feature since 18.05 version. And many libraries running Koha and login Koha using the single username and password. And they have not created any other login and ID and password for staff login. But they upgraded from old version to 18.05. That feature not available. They have no super user and a password to login. They get in trouble. Then one change from MySQL to MariaDB. That's a minor change. Both MySQL and MariaDB is same. Anyway, Koha developers prefer MariaDB. Second is Google turning off less secure app access to G Suite account. We can integrate email server to Koha to send notices from Koha. Send notices in the format of email messages. For that purpose, we can add Google account to into Koha. But Google made a change in their security. They have implemented two-way verification. Okay, and they stopped the old style of verification. Due to that, many Koha implementations stopped sending messages from Google account. And library professionals bewildered. What's the reason? But actually, they didn't know the Google changed their policy regarding the verification. But if we know the change, they give some instruction to how to turn on the new feature. But we have the main reason is that if we follow recent changes, we can easily manage Koha. A lot of changes happening day by day. We have to follow these changes. Otherwise, very difficult to manage Koha. Then next question is suitable Linux distributions for Koha. Hundreds of Linux-based operating systems available. Anyway, developers prefer Debian or Ubuntu Linux. Debian Linux has more community and big community, more free software in nature, so they choose Debian. In Indian context, we are familiar with Red Hat, CentOS, and Fedora. In many institutions, sysadmins make use CentOS or Fedora for running network. But they are not familiar with the Debian or Ubuntu. Suppose the library professionals talk with the sysadmin, can we install Koha in the institute? The sysadmin not familiar with the Debian and they are reluctant to install Koha for the library. Anyway, the next thing is many Indian libraries running using desktop computer. They have no server system. They have no cloud system. Those are small libraries. They have just ordinary desktop computer. Most of these desktop computers are very lightweight. Lightweight means they're running on low profile processor and less powered processor. We have to choose an ideal desktop for such running on such a desktop computer. For example, we have to choose lightweight desktops like XFCE and LXDE to run on, to install on I mean low profile processors like Pentium or Intel i3 processor. Then we have to choose supported version of Debian or Ubuntu with Koha. Koha does not support all Debian or Ubuntu version. The developers test on particular versions and they prescribe, they mention which versions of Debian or Ubuntu they support. They mention it on their wiki website and in their official installation manual, which version of Debian or Ubuntu we have to choose to install Koha. See, here the screenshot of Koha wiki. There we can see there which versions of Debian they support. Debian 10, Debian 9, and Debian 8. I think Debian 11 also they support. See Ubuntu 20.04, but we can install it on 22.04. That's the latest one, but they do not officially support. Anyway, we have to, if we are going to install Koha, first we have to consult with the official installation manual available with the Koha official wiki page.
Sir, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sir, are you there? Vimal sir? Vimal sir, there is any problem?
No problem, sir. We given a break, 10 minutes break.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay, welcome back. Anyway, for small libraries, they would plan to install Koha on a desktop computer. It's very important to select an ideal desktop for Debian or Ubuntu. And we are familiar with the default Genome desktop, the purple color desktop. That's a heavyweight desktop. It consumes too much computing resources. For example, heavyweight desktops like Genome, KD, Cinnamon, very heavy, and it takes too much RAM and too much storage. It slows down your PC. Suppose if you use a Ubuntu with lightweight desktops like LXQT or XFCE, it does not consume too much RAM or processing power. So we can make use the remaining the processing power to run Koha. Okay, to install Koha, we can choose Ubuntu Linux with lightweight desktops like Xubuntu, Lubuntu, and Kubuntu and Ubuntu, two other flavors. That's very heavy. I will show you the screenshot of Ubuntu with Genome. This is the default desktop. It need minimum 4 GB RAM to run properly. Low profile processors like i3 and Pentium computer. But Pentium computer is out of date. Minimum i3 processor is the minimum requirement to run this lightweight Ubuntu Linux. See, to download this Xubuntu, we have to visit the project website. Just make a search in Google Xubuntu. This is the homepage of Xubuntu. See, get Xubuntu, download. See, download the latest long-term support edition. Long-term support means we will get updates for 5 years. Minimum 5 years. We will get 10 years support. These are the servers available in various countries. Depends upon the location. We can download the ISO file very fast. See, this is the server located near to India, Thailand. Click on it. You can download Xubuntu 22.04 desktop AMD 64 edition ISO file. Its size is 2.3 GB. You can make use a tool called Ventoy to facilitate your pen drive to put more than one Linux ISO file. Suppose you want to put Debian and various Ubuntu flavors in a single USB. Just install this tool on USB. It will provide a multi-boot pen drive. Install this software in Windows or Linux, then insert your pen drive, install it on your pen drive. After that, you can find a folder inside the pen drive, put the ISO files, 2 or 3 ISO files inside the folder. Depends on the size of the pen drive, you can put whatever may be the number of Linux ISO. No need to format it and format the pen drive again and again for make available Linux based ISO bootable from the pen drive. Anyway, I prefer Xubuntu desktop, Xubuntu Linux for Koha installation. It will not take too much computing resources. Then next is hardware selection for based on the requirements and your, the infrastructure available in the library, we can install it on. We can choose a platform, hardware platform to install Koha. Anyway, the latest hardware, most of the latest hardware architects support Linux-based operating system. Earlier, some limitation to install Ubuntu on particular kind of hardware. For example, printers. Remember to choose a printer support Ubuntu or Debian. Most of the printers nowadays support Ubuntu, especially HP printers, very friendly to Linux operating system. Anyway, if we want to buy a new computer for Koha installation, you have to give some purchase order, specifically mention the detailed configuration of the computer. For example, you can see there which processor type you want. For example, based on the number of records and other things, you want an i5 processor, mentioned there Intel Core i5. Then we have to specifically mention the processor speed. The same, it's a series. Core i5 is a series. Inside that Core i5, we can find many versions like various speeds, 3.1, 3.5, 4 gigahertz. We have to specifically mention the speed of the processor. Many variants available. Many variants has a different price. Then specifically mention the RAM size, 8 GB or 16 GB we can prefer. Anyway, minimum 8 GB is sufficient to run latest version of Koha. Then memory type, storage type. Anyway, HDD storage is traditionally using, that's outdated. We can make use SSD storage. Then specifically mention computer with no operating system. We can mention there FreeDOS or Linux. Otherwise, they will preload. They will supply computer with the preloaded Windows. We have to pay them the Windows license. See, next is type of storage for the support of Koha. You can choose SSD storage over HDD storage. Both has a different technology. Anyway, SSD is very fast. It also enhances the performance of your computer. See, HDD is slow because it runs a spindle. SSD is same like a pen drive type architecture. So data transfer is very fast. Anyway, SSD price is a little bit high, no problem. Koha does not consume too much storage. Minimum 240 GB or 500 GB is enough to install a medium Koha, medium library with medium number of, 25,000 books and a median number of transaction and a pattern number of users. Then some differences in desktop computers. The two kinds of desktop PCs available. One is desktop and one is workstation PC. See, suppose your library transactions are very hectic and the number of records are very high. You can choose a workstation PC or desktop. Workstation PCs are very heavy-duty desktop computer. It has their own architecture. Then it's available with various Linux-based operating system. We can also choose which operating system we need. For example, I will show you an example. One cloud service provider called UpCloud. If you have a debit card or credit card, we can hire some space there. See UpCloud. See their pricing. See, 1 GB storage, 1 CPU, memory means RAM, 1 GB, storage 25 GB, data transfer 1 TB, $5 per month. $5 per month means about 2,500 per year. This is enough to run a personal website or small instance of Koha. Suppose if we want more storage and memory, we can choose other plans. Then we have to learn about Koha release schedule. They release two versions, major versions in every year. One is in May, another is in November. Based on the year and month, they coin the release name. For example, they release a version in 2002 May. The version number will become 22.05. 22 means the year 22. 05 means the month May. Then every month a bug fix release will come. Bug means some errors or some on the day-to-day working. Someone will report these problems. They will resolve it. They change the code. The next month a bug fix release will come. Then 21.11 is the version number. Then this is the 6 is the update. This is the 6th update. After the release of the major version, this is the 6th update. Then visit kohacommunity.org for release announcements and a README file. In README file, we will check it. They will give in detail what are the main major features and what are the enhancements, what are the bugs they have fixed. That these things we can check in the README file. Anyway, they have some different kinds of versions available. One is stable version. Stable means the latest one, latest release. Then another old stable release also available, the previous release. Then old stable, again the previous release. Then unstable release means the beta version for testing purpose. Anyway, old stable version is mature. It means it receives a lot of updates after its release. Old stable or old stable release is ideal to install. Stable release may come, if some bugs it's a new one, so bugs inside the software, it has to be resolved. So stable release not ideal to install for production purpose. Choose old stable and old stable for to install for your library. While installation, we can mention which version we have to install, either stable or old stable. We can mention there. Based on that, it install old stable or stable version. These are the current versions. I have took the screenshot in this evening. 22.05. This is the latest version. They released the 5th updates about its table. See, 15 enhancements and 48 bug fixes. They have found some bugs and resolved. Then old stable 21.11 that released in 2020 November. This is the 11th updates available. It's very mature. It almost very mature and easy and without any fear we can install it. Almost all bugs are resolved. This is the homepage of Koha. See, this is the news where we can find information on latest releases. See there, 21.11. See, 22.055 released. Click on it. We can see the README file. See, these are the enhancements. Enhancements means new some modifications they made. Number is bugs reported by the Koha users. Anybody can report a bug. Suppose if you are running Koha, you find some problems, go to the bug and they will solve and fix. See, critical bugs. See, Koha installation step. Anyway, we have to follow official Koha wiki where we can find the latest installation manual. First, they change everything there. Strictly follow the Koha community wiki page and installation manual is available. Anyway, for the first-hand reference, make use this Koha wiki installation manual from Koha wiki page. Then library professionals curious to try Koha installation, don't try on production computer. Suppose a separate spare desktop computer available, install Ubuntu there and try yourself. Suppose no other computer available, you can install VirtualBox, a software where we can create virtual computers and try to install Koha there. Don't play with the production computer. Three kinds of installation available. One is install using Debian or Ubuntu packages. It means we can install Koha from their software repository. We can connect the Koha software repository to the Debian or Ubuntu Linux. We can install from the repository directly. This is the easiest method to install Koha. See, in the Ubuntu repository, Koha repository, the package available in .deb format, Debian format, same like exe format in Windows. Second method is install using Git. Git is a main version maintaining system where we can find source code. We can directly install from source code. The developers prefer this method. Next is install using tarball. Tarball means the software packaged in a tar file, the compressed file. We can download it and install it. Anyway, first method is easy, Debian Ubuntu packages. Install using Debian or Ubuntu packages. Then how to keep in touch with the Koha developments? Koha receive monthly updates. We can receive the updates by applying some commands. The same Ubuntu commands, I will show you the commands later. Then after the installation, to get the technical details of Koha, it's available on Koha about page. That is on the right side of Koha homepage. Suppose you are joining a library, Koha is already running. You don't know about which version of Koha running there. Just check the about page of Koha, where we can find the version, current version, and we can also see there in which operating system running. There the technical details. Then upgrade or migration from a version of Koha. See, suppose your Koha installed 10 years back or 5 or 6 years back. If you want to upgrade to the latest version, we have to be very careful. We need the assistance of an expert. Suppose that 5 or 6 years back they install it on an old version of Ubuntu, for example Ubuntu 14.04 that released on 2014. It's difficult to upgrade to the latest version 20.04 or 22.04. System may break. That's the reason is that Ubuntu is 14.04 is very old one. Then maybe Koha may be very old version, for example, version 3.22. That released on, I think, 2012. Direct upgrade from very old version of Ubuntu and Koha to latest version is very troublesome and chance for data loss. Then suppose your Ubuntu and Koha is very old. What are the strategy we have to follow to upgrade to the latest version? See, one method is stage-wise upgrade from one version to another version. Suppose your Koha version is 3.18, you can upgrade to 3.22. How to upgrade to 3.22? For example, some live DVDs also available in the net, and virtual machines also available in the net. You can download it and run it of 3.22. Restore your database, old database to 3.22. Then 3.222 to the medium, I mean 16.05. That released in 2016. That's a recently modern version. You can change it to 16.05. The gradual upgradation from old version to recent version is possible. In certain cases, the method 1 will not work. In such cases, suppose your old Koha is running well, no other problem, you can export book details in MARC format, then export usage details in CSV format, in spreadsheet format, and you can also export transaction circulation details in CSV format, spreadsheet format. Then you can import it into Koha one by one. Anyway, these method 1, method 2 require some technical expertise. If you cannot do it alone, you can seek the help of an expert. Then how to request a help from the Koha community? Koha offer various platforms to collaborate. Email discussion forums available. Their Facebook group is available. And some other platforms like Buxilla, translation platform also available. Anyway, suppose you got an error. First, you can make a search in Google, copy the error message and paste it into Google plus Koha. For example, you got error called DB increment. If any error happens, it mentioned on the about page. Suppose DB increment as Koha. you will get this problem already solved. You can find various blogs and websites which give solution to this problem. You can visit any blog and go through the steps and resolve it. Suppose you could not find a solution for your problem, you can approach the community. You can join with the email discussion forum. Just to take a screenshot of your error message. Then simply type what's the error happened, which version of Koha, which version of database. These things you have to mention. Otherwise, others cannot help you. And post it in the group. You can expect an answer. How to receive updates on Koha. See how to keep in touch with the changes happening there. It's a community-owned project. A lot of people associate with, not individuals. A lot of companies also associate with the project. So development is very fast. Always expect new changes in technical matters, features, and functions. Then what are the sources available to keep in touch with these changes? First is Koha home page. That's a single portal where we can find links to various resources. First comprehensive resource is Koha documentation, where we can find. See, I will show you. It's a Koha portal. This is the documentation. Click on the documentation. Very comprehensive Koha documentation available there, where we can see the list of recent versions. 22.50, that's the latest one. See manual in various languages. Click on HTML. It will open. If you have doubts regarding the Koha interface and its modules, you can consult with the Koha manual. See support, community support, Koha mailing list, paid support, the links to Bugzilla, they are also listed there. We can also find free demos available in the website. For learning purpose, you can make use the free demo of Koha. Many supporting companies made available this demo free of cost in the site. We can open it and log in. They also mentioned their username and password to log in. It's very slow. Then Koha community newsletter. This is very resourceful. I will show you the community. Every month they release a newsletter where we can find tons of Koha community newsletter September. We can find several tips and tricks on Koha. See general note, Koha libraries, Koha tips and tricks. They collected these things from various blogs and website. See, very useful for running Koha. Okay, they added a video on evaluating and improving the performance of Koha. Redesigning cover flow. This is also a video where in newsletter where we can find many useful tips and tricks on Koha. Then release notes already be seen where we can find what are the bug fixes, what are the new features available. Then third is Koha Wiki. It's a separate website. See the installation. See, if you want to see the official documentation on Koha installation, just make a search in Google, Koha on Ubuntu. Koha on Ubuntu. First is the official documentation will come. See the very detailed installation step mentioned there. Suppose you want to install Koha on Debian, Koha on Debian. See. Suppose you want to install the stable version. Here we can see the instruction. This is the link address to the repository where we can mention stable or old stable version we want to add. In detail, they given the installation instructions. Then Bugzilla. Bugzilla is a platform where we can report bugs. Create an account there. Suppose we found a error or something not logical, you can report the bug. The developers will notice it. Suppose if it has to resolve, they will work on it and resolve it. Then Koha DB schema. Koha store bibliographical details, users and transactions, everything in the database, relational database. We can see the structure of the database from this website. This is very helpful to build reports. We want to know the structure of the tables, database tables and fields. See, for example, borrowers. See, in this table, user details are stored. Borrowers table, borrower number, card number, surname, first name, everything listed there. The field names are listed there and its relation also listed. Then a lot of video tutorials available. Just check in YouTube where we can find tutorials on Koha. Recently, Koha Con, the annual meeting happened in US. They posted many tutorials and updates, video available on YouTube. Then Facebook group is also available. Just make a search in Facebook, Koha users. You can find a group, make a request for joining. They will ask some questions. Just fill the question. You can enter in and take part in the discussion. There are a lot of blogs available. Many Koha experts maintain blogs. They simplified many things, and we can follow their blog and do many things following their instructions. Then conclusion, we need a good homework for the Koha implementation. It's a free software. We have to make a good homework. We have to learn a lot to implement it. Otherwise, we have to approach a Koha service provider for the assistance. Suppose your institution has no technical support, we have to learn these things and implement it. Then we need more commitment. Suppose we learn everything from scratch. Now we have good expertise. Suppose other library trying to implement Koha, they face some problems. We can extend our help to the library or people who needs help. Otherwise, you can participate in the discussion forums. Suppose someone places a question to resolve a particular problem. Suppose we know the solution, we can tell them how to solve the problem. Then learning and constant learning and sharing culture is very necessary to survive in open source software. Any questions regarding my presentation? Please feel free to ask.
Sir,
Please.
sir, someone asked the question in chat box. I want to mention here.
Yeah.
Someone asked the backup charges of the Koha cloud, how can be purchased? Mr. Thakur asked this question.
Uh-huh.
Someone asked the backup charges of the Koha cloud, how can be purchased?
Okay, to purchase cloud, for example, up cloud. First, we have to create an account there and add our debit card or credit card. Then we can choose a plan for the cloud server. Suppose your library is very small number of records and small number of users and very limited transactions. You can choose the plan 2 GB RAM, 50 GB storage, and 2 GB transfer, about $10 per month. Suppose some government institution cannot directly purchase through website. They can approach a third-party company to buy these cloud service and provide Koha. Anyway, first we have to create an account. If you have the power to purchase individually, just add a debit card or credit card for payment and choose the product and buy it. After that, we will get a control center. Then we can choose the operating system. For example, you want latest version of Ubuntu to run, install Goha, choose it. Then enter into the command prompt. The remaining installation is same. Just to copy paste the command from Koha Wiki and install it. After the installation, you can access Koha through IP address or website domain name. The installation part is same. If we install it on desktop or cloud is same. Platform is different. I mean, when we install it on a physical machine, in cloud we install in a remote machine from our PC. The installation part is same. If we install it on desktop or cloud is same.
Sir, another question is.
Yeah.
Another question is, what will happen if we do not update the version and continue working with the version that we have installed?
Okay. No problem if we do not update for 1 or 2 years, but after that, database structure may change. If we try to upgrade after 1 or 2 years, data loss may happen. But if we do not update, we will miss the latest features of latest versions of Koha. For example, if we are running Ubuntu 16.04, the 16.04 released 8 years back, we cannot upgrade to the latest version. Okay, if we want to install the latest version, we have to move from old version to new version of Ubuntu. So anyway, to get the full strength of Koha and the benefits of latest versions, we have to update both Ubuntu and Koha regularly.
Sir, someone asked another question is the Padmaj as Raj for accessing through the cloud. Should our computer have any requirements?
Training programs, and they are familiar with the Ubuntu and Koha. So with a little effort, they can install in a latest version of install latest version of Koha on latest version of Ubuntu. Koha demo ID and password. It mentioned on the Koha website demo page. See there, demo. Koha. Yes. See, these demos hosted by many Koha service provided. For example, BibLiber is a company supporting Koha activities in France. They provided a demo of Koha. See there, login and password, test. One more popular Koha service provider from US, Bywater. See there, ID and password Bywater. This is for learning purpose only. Does Koha supports Oriental languages like Hindi, Urdu? Sure, it works. We can manage Indian languages in Koha. We can easily retrieve these records through OPAC.
Sir, someone
Yeah.
asked. Sir,
Please. Yeah.
someone asked most reliable cloud service provider for system image backups and also multiple geo redundant backups.
Where it is?
Sir, I write down the
Please.
somebody asked in I think he asked in WhatsApp group. I am I am paste picture.
Okay.
This is sir.
Yes. See, anyway, Amazon Cloud, Google Cloud, and Microsoft Azure, these are reliable cloud platforms, and several cloud platforms available based on their pricing plans and their service speed. We can select a cloud for Koha installation. I mean, Amazon, Google, and Microsoft Azure is very popular and very reliable. see how to connect Koha with RFID station. In our library, the RFID provider for Stallion Solutions, they provide hardware for RFID scanner, gate, these things provided by the company. They also created a script, act as an intermediary between Koha and the hardware. Actually, they wrote down the script and they connected the hardware, RFID hardware to Koha. But Koha has they follow some standards and a protocol to integrate these devices into Koha. I'm not in a position, I have no expertise to tell in detail how RFID integrate to Koha.
Anyone else?
No, sir. Thanks.
Thanks. Okay, sir, everyone. So the last but not the least, we will meet tomorrow again for important topics by Dr. Vikram. Before left the meeting, I want to ask all participants that I am giving you some option that this what about this session, the excellent, good and average. Kindly mentions your comment in chat box. Excellent, good and average. Give your feedback in chat box. If you will give us your feedback, I think we will more appreciate it. So kindly give the. Thank you very much, Mohit, Habibur Rahman, excellent, Aisha, TMC Sargam, Sri Rahmani, Hafsata, Panja, Padam Raj, excellent, Poonam, excellent, Raj Lakshmi, excellent, Bipal Singh, Jaipuria, excellent. Thank you very much, everyone. Excellent, Dr. Devika SS, excellent, good, very good, excellent, Shijina P, excellent, good. Vishishta Nandajan, excellent. Ashim Chetia, excellent. Aparna P, excellent. Panja Lingam, good. Yuksar Safi, very good. Nishab, excellent, sir. Anuradha said, excellent. Clarity about the operating system will explain. Veena, Vinay, and Vinesh P. Thank you all of you for giving us your valuable feedback and comment regarding this workshop. Sir, it is very useful workshop for every participant. So I think we should end this work today, sir. Sir, anything you want to say?
Tomorrow I will share you the ID and password to log in Koha on cloud. We have prepared it for learning purpose. And also I will share the PPT of this presentation. I have already shared in the group, WhatsApp group. You can go through it. Tomorrow everybody get user ID and password to log in Koha on cloud. We have hosted for this training session. Okay, see you tomorrow.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Sir, Naushad sir is here.
Pardon, sir?
Professor Naushad sir is here.
Sir, can I ask one question, sir?
Please,
Yes,
please.
ma'am.
Sir, for the tomorrow session, sir, should we have to install Linux or Koha?
Nothing. We installed already in cloud. You need only whatever may be the operating system, no problem. You can use it through a browser. You will get an IP number. You can open the Koha in any browser or any operating system, and you can log in it. No need to install Linux.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Thank you everyone for coming this most important workshops, today's sessions. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, everyone. If you have any question, can you mention the email and WhatsApp?